Jump has a network of sports club which is managed by local managers reporting to the main board. The local managers have a lot of autonomy and are able to vary employment contracts with staff and offer discounts for membership fees and personal training sessions, and they also control their own maintenance budget but do not have control over large amounts of capital expenditure. A local manager's performance and bonus is assessed relative to three targets. For every one of these three targets that is reached in an individual quarter, 400 is added to the manager's bonus, which is paid at the end of the year. The maximum bonus per year is therefore based on 12 targets, three targets in each of the 4 quarters of the year. Accordingly, the maximum bonus that could be earned is 12 into 4, that is 4800, which represents 40% of the basic salary of a local manager. Jump has a 31st March year end. So the performance data for one of the sports clubs for the last 4 quarters is as follows: quarter to 30th June 2009, and you can read out this information. We'll use it for solving the question, and the agreed targets are also given. Staff must be on time over 95% on the time. Okay, this will be used, I guess. 1 2 3, I think they will all be used. Let's read the first requirement, that is A part. Calculate the amount of bonus that the manager should expect to be paid for last financial year. Okay, so the bonus is based on the targets which are achieved. So I think these are the agreed targets 1 2 and 3. The very first target is staff must be on time over 95% of the time. No penalty is made when staff is absent from work. Staff must be on time over 95% of the time. So, okay, in this, how can we calculate? We have a number of days in the quarter, staff lateness days that are 20, and staff days 450. The data which is given to us is the performance data for one of the sports club for last 4 quarters. The performance data for one of the sports club for last 4 quarters. So this is for last 4 quarters. This data is for last 4 quarters. Okay, so let's start doing it. So first is quarter to 30 June. Quarter to 30th September. So staff days, I think these are the ideal days which should be there: 450, 480, 470, and then 480. Now, lateness days. So 95%, it is saying that to achieve the target, the staff must be 95% of the time. But what are the late days? How many days they came late? So late days. Late days should be 20. Sorry, 20 for this quarter, 28, 28, 20. We'll reduce it and we will get the actual time. So 450 minus 20, it's 430. 480 minus 28 is 452. 470 minus 28 is 442. It's 460. Now we'll calculate the percentage. What do we need to calculate? The percentage of days on time. Percentage of target, you can say percentage of target achieved. It's 430 divided by 450 into 100. 452 divided by 480 into 100. 442 divided by 470 into 100. 460 divided by 480 into 100. And now it will give you 430 divided by 450 into 100, that is 95.5%. 452 divided by 480, this is 94.17%. 442 divided by 470, this is 94%. 460 divided by 480 into 100, this is 95.83%. Okay, so the percentage of target achieved is the next target is on average 60% of the members must use the club's facilities regularly by visiting at least 12 times per quarter. Okay, so the target is 60% of the members must use the club's facilities. So how many members are there? There are 60% of the members use the club facilities regularly by visiting. So what are the total number of visits? We need to concentrate on the total number of visits that are members that are visiting. So members that are visiting has been given to us in the question. We can write it over here. Members visiting to the club are 20,000, 20,000, 24,000, 26,000, 24,000, 26,000. ठीक है. And then okay, now actual number of visits. What are they? Actual number on average 60% of the members must use. So staff days, number of visits are actually not given. So what will we do? Okay, let me read this statement. On average 60% of the members must use club's facilities regularly by visiting at least 12 times per quarter. So the target should be that number of members which are visiting 12 times per quarter, and they should okay, the target, I'll write it over here and explain it with the help of first quarter. Quarter to June 2009, I'll help you explain with this one. So the thing is that the number of members are 3,000, and if the number of members are 3,000 and it is saying that they must be visiting at least 12 times per quarter, so that means the total number of visits should be 3,000 into 12, that is 36,000, and the target achieved should be 60% of it, means 60% of 36,000. So I'll write it over here that number of visits should be 12, and for this quarter it's number of members are 20, and the target will be achieved by 60% of the members visiting. So it's 20,000 into 12, 60% of it. Have I done something wrong? No, it's 3,000. Sorry, it's not 12,000, it's 3,000. It's not 20,000, it's 3,000. 3,000 into 12 into 60%, that is 2160. Similarly, I'll do for all the quarters. Number of visits, I'll write 3,200, 3,300, 3,400, 3,200, 3,200, 3,300, 3,400. Number of visits 12 into 60%. Number of visits 12 into 60%. Number of visits 12 into 60%. This will be 3,200 into 12, and 60% of it is 23,040. 3,300 into 12, and 60% of it is 23,760. 3,400 3,400 into 12, and 60% of it is, let me calculate it again, 3,400 into 12, and 60% of it is 24,480. Now how can we say that our target was achieved? So this is the actual and this is the target. Okay, now I can clearly see that the target was 21,600, but the actual number of visits were 20,000, so our target did not get achieved. Over here our target was 23,040 visits, and the actual is 24,000, so the target gets achieved over here. Even here also we can see the target is getting achieved, and over here it's not achieved. Okay, now what is the third target? The third target is on an average 10% of the members must book a personal training session each quarter. On an average 10% of the members must book a personal training sessions. What is the information given about personal training session? Personal training sessions booked. So this is the actual number, I believe. So the actual sessions booked, or I'll write it a little small. So the actual sessions booked. Okay. Now actual sessions booked are 310, 325, 310 and 339. 310, 325, 310 and 339. Okay, 310, 325, 310 and 339. But what is the target? Target is average of 10% of the members. 10% of the members. So what are the actual number of members? 3,000, 3,200, 300 and 3,300, 3,400. So we'll calculate 10% of it and we will get the target number of sessions booked. So target sessions booked is 300, 320, 330, 340. Have we achieved the target? Have they achieved the target? Yes. In this case, yes. In this case, definitely yes. In this case, no. And in this case, no. So how many targets are getting achieved? In how many quarters we are achieving they are achieving the targets? 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. So the uh, total number of targets being achieved are 6. Now they had mentioned in this that they will be paid 400 for each target, right? 400 bonus for each target achieved. 400 for each target achieved is that means the total bonus. So the bonus earned is 6 into 400, that is 2400. 6 into 400 which is 2400. And what was the total bonus? How much the total bonus should have been? What are they asking actually? Calculate the amount of bonus that the managers should expect to be paid for the latest financial year. So we have calculated it as 2400, right? We have calculated it as 2400, though it is not asking us anything, but it is given over here that the bonus actually should be achieved by 12 into 400, that is 4800, which represents 40% of the basic salary. But over here what it seems, if your total bonus to be paid was 4800 and actual bonus earned is 2400, that means bonus earned is 50% of the target bonus that the managers should have achieved. First part is done. Now let's jump on to second. Discuss to what extent the targets set are controllable by the local managers. Okay, this is something discursive. So you are required to make a case for both the sides. What do you mean by case for both the sides? So let's read it out. An important principle of any target bonus system is that the targets must be based on controllable aspects of the manager's role. So there are some controllable and non-controllable. I think we might study that in variance analysis as well, that what are the controllable targets. I think the operational performances, like the material operational variances, or the sale price operational variances, all the operational targets. So they are to be managed by the managers, the departmental managers, not by the management. There is a clear difference between the management and the operational managers. So where the bonus are being achieved by the operational managers. So what are controllable factors and what are not controllable? So what the factors that are controllable by the managers? Okay, so targets related to those controllable factors can only be achieved. Now what are the factors which are controllable by the managers, like staff being on time? We have used staff being on time. This is a controllable factor which manager can control, right? So let's read it about this. So staff on time, the way in which a manager manages staff can have a big bearing on whether or not an individual staff member is keen to work or arrive on time. So it is highly dependent on the staff actually, though the manager is motivating the employees to how the manager motivates, that is all dependent on the managerial skills, but it is also dependent on the staff as well. So how much staff is keen to actually come on time? So we are told that the local managers have the power to vary employment contracts, so the managers should be able to agree acceptable shift patterns with staff and reward them for compliance. So this thing is given in the question. In this respect, the lateness of the staff is controllable by the managers. Yeah, by giving them reward, by accepting their shift patterns, they can get into the contract as per their shift patterns or whatever. Like for example, there are certain women and they say that we can only work from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and the actual shift timings are from 11:30 to 7:30. So the shift timings of some women employees might change because of their own personal reason. The women employee might have some kids at home or some other personal reason, because of which she cannot follow 11:30 to 7:30 shift, and so she discloses this thing to her manager that the shift timings by me will be followed as 8:30 to 5 p.m. So the contract will be as per 8:30 to 5 p.m. So it only so this thing has been given in the question, that the shift patterns, the contract will be dependent on the acceptable shift patterns, and also they will be rewarded as per the timings. So on other hand, an individual staff member may be subject to some home pressures, like what I explained you, or problems with public or other transport. Yes, if I work in Gurgaon, which is Delhi NCR, and somebody is traveling from Noida, and there is a strike, auto strike or bus strike or taxi strike, and or there is a bomb threat in the metro, please forbid me, but still I'm using some scenarios. Or there is some pollution in Delhi NCR, and they say that okay, metros will be closed from so and so hours, and so this will these are some uncontrollable factors which the managers also cannot control. So yes, what can they control on the staff is like their shift patterns, and they can reward them. On the other hand, there are certain situations like home pressures on the employees, or all these circumstances which I had just said. These circumstances cannot be controlled by the managers. So if this problem because if this problem becomes regular for a member of staff, then the local manager could vary the contract of employment accordingly. So if somebody is traveling from Noida and he or she says that I cannot come all 5 working days, I can only come 2 days a week rather than 5 days, because the distance is quite a lot. So the employment contract can be modified, but it entirely depends on the manager. So this factor is something controllable to a certain extent. So lateness to work is controllable by the local managers. Member uses facilities. Now, the local managers control the staff and hence the level of customer service. Good quality of customer service would probably encourage members to use the facilities equally by maintaining the club to a high standard. Then local managers can remove other potential reasons for a member not to use facilities regularly. On the other hand, customers are influenced by many factors outside of the club, and their state of health or their own work pressures can prevent members being able to come to the club. Overall, the local manager can only partly control the number of members visit. Okay. Yes, and then the third was personal training sessions. Personal training sessions was dependent on what? um n- that was all dependent on the number of members. So again, it depends on the employees and which are staff which are being managed by the manager, and if the staff is well trained and everything, the members would continue with their booking, or a number of members visiting the club might increase. The membership might increase if the customer service is really good. So the manager is also has control over the price as well, right? So if the booking falls, they are able to reduce the price or make a special offer to encourage use of the facilities. On the other hand, personal training sessions may be seen as a luxury by the customers. In times of financial difficulty, they are expendable by them. Personal training sessions are often available from other sources, and competitions can force down the sales of the club, and the manager can respond to that by improving the services, and they cannot, however, make significant investment in improving the facilities without the board approval. Yes, so overall the local managers can partly control. Yes, even if the see, now the staff contract and everything, that is, can be managed. If today I approach my manager and I say that I can come 2 hours late, so that is something, an adjustment between me and my manager. And the manager above my own manager will not be keen of seeing how, what, at what time am I coming. That manager or the head would be only be concerned with the performance or the outcome. The actual timing and everything has to be managed by my own manager. So this is something controllable by the staff. But if I talk about the number of visits and facility, number of members using the facilities, it entirely depends. It partially depends on the customer services being provided by the staff, which is controllable by the manager. But on the other hand, uh, there are other factors, like the members might face, some members might face some financial crunch, and they might not come one quarter and they might come another quarter. There might be some other factors as well, that they are not happy with the customer service and they are looking for something else. Also, the other competitors are definitely, providing them a better facility or something. There are a lot of factors, and same goes for personal training sessions. So these are some uh, partial factors. Again, the price, even if the manager reduces the price or offers some discount, that cannot be wholly decided by the manager. The manager itself will have to get the approval from the head, departmental head, or the head above the manager. So this is how, this is why it has been termed as that these factors like personal training sessions and member use of facilities can be partially controlled by the manager. Now, the C part is describe two methods on how the manager can access to the accounting and other records and could unethically manipulate the situations. So, first is like I told you, how can they manipulate for a greater bonus is they can actually. Now the bonuses is dependent on what factors. The staff must be on time and on an average number of visits and everything. So it can be like they can go into the MIS management information system, and they have access to it, and they can also alter, they can increase the number of visits for a particular quarter, or they can, manipulate the price themselves only to achieve the target. So the unethical manager could record visits in a different period then was actual. For example, this is year end, right? My target has already been achieved. I know that for last quarter I have already achieved my target. My next year is going to start. Okay, next year in quarter one, I'll have to achieve the target. So what I'll do is the number of visits which are there, which are there, the extra, I can term this as extra, which are above the target achieved. Okay, for example, the target was of for a particular month was 300 visits, and the I have achieved the target of. I have overachieved the target by 360 visits. So that 60 is extra, right? Those 60, because I'm achieving the target is at 300. So I can show for last quarter that, okay, I have achieved the target by 300. The actual number of visits were 300, and the target was also of 300. And those 60 visits can be shown on the next quarter of the next year. So this is how it can be manipulated very easily, and they could have therefore record and they could earn this bonus as well, extra bonus of that. Another is like they can reduce the prices as well. So the target that the manager is subject to are mainly volume driven, so a reduction in price would harm profitability, but would not damage the manager's potential. Yes. So yeah, even if like as I said, in last quarter the actual visits were 360, but the target achieved by them was supposed to be 300. I should have shown the 360 visits, because 360 visits would have led to the more earnings or more profit of the organization. But again, that is the organization's profit. I am not getting any profit on, I'm not getting bonus. My bonus, the manager's bonus, is not dependent on the profit being achieved by the organization. It is rather than the number of visits, it's rather based on the volumes than on the profit. So it doesn't matter, and this is how the prices or the profitability could be impacted if I do not include 60 visits, those extra 60 visits. The overachieved target was 60. So if I do not include that in my last quarter and I take it up to the next quarter of a fresh year, by that the manager can achieve it, can achieve the target, and then can earn the bonus. But if you talk about the profitability of the organization might decline, but again the bonus is not dependent on the profit. It is rather dependent on the volumes, number of visits or number of session booked.